Hello, today we will be talking about noise with regards to the workplace environment. We will be looking into the various types of noises, the sources of noises, and finally the health effects of noise. Let us begin with sound. What is sound? As you know, sound is a normal feature of our life. It is a means of communication in most animals, including humans. It is also a very effective alarm system. Perhaps you have read that sound is produced by the vibrations caused in the air. A low sound is pleasant, whereas a loud sound is unpleasant. And is commonly referred to as noise. Noise is defined as the unwanted, unpleasant or disagreeable sound that causes discomfort to all living beings. Any sound, whether pleasant as music or as unpleasant as noise, depends on its loudness, duration, rhythm and the mood of the person. But loudness is definitely the most significant criterion which converts sound into noise. Exposure to loud noise is indeed annoying and harmful too. Not all sound is noise. As you know, noise is sound that people do not like. Noise can be annoying and it can interfere with your ability to work by causing stress and disturbing your concentration. Noise can cause accidents by interfering with communication and warning signals. Noise can cause chronic health problems. It can also cause loss of hearing. According to the Encyclopedia Britannica, noise is defined as any undesired sound. Noise is derived from the Latin term nausea. Noise is defined as an unwanted or damaging sound that may cause damage to your hearing and also cause other health effects such as stress, hypersensitivity to noise, increased blood pressure and increased heart rate. It can also interfere with communication at work, which could lead to accidents. Noise is not necessarily random sounds. It is also particularly loud ones that disturb people or make it difficult to hear. For example, conversations of other people may be called noise by people not involved in them. Any unwanted sound such as domesticated dogs barking, neighbors playing loud music, portable mechanical saws, road traffic sounds, or a distant aircraft in a quiet countryside is also called noise. There are 4 common characteristics of sound, any or all of which determine the listener's response and the subsequent definition of the sound as noise. These characteristics are intensity, loudness, annoyance and offensiveness. Sound intensity is measured in decibels, that is the 10th part of the longest unit called bell. 1 decibel is the faintest sound that a human ear can hear. Now let us look at the various types of noises. Types of noise is characterized by pressure, frequency, duration, location and intermittency. These can be classified as continuous sound, variable or intermittent sound, and you also have noise caused by impulse or impact. Now let us look at the various sources of noise in the work environment. Noise may be put into any of the following 2 categories. You have the external noise and the internal noise. External noise is a noise where the source are obviously external. External noise can be classified again into the following three types. You have the atmospheric noise, which is due to naturally occurring disturbances in the Earth's atmosphere, such as lightning. You then have the extraterrestrial noise, which is the electrical noise due to solar and cosmic activity. Finally, you have the man-made noise. In this lesson, we are going to learn mostly about the man-made noises and their effects on humans. Man-made noise has been doubling every 10 years. This type of noise is classified as industrial noise, transport noise and neighborhood noise. You also have the other types coming from social events and etc. Industrial noise. Progress in technology has resulted in creating noise pollution. Textile mills, printing presses, engineering establishments and metal works, etc. contribute heavily towards noise pollution. In industrial cities like Kolkata, Ludhiana, Kanpur, etc., often the industrial zones are not separated from the residential zones of the city, especially in the case of small-scale industries. It is the sound with a high intensity caused by these machines in various factories, industries and mills. These operate from workshops located on the ground floor of the residential areas and cause annoyance, discomfort and irritation to the residents. Noise from mechanical saws and pneumatic drills is unbearable and a nuisance to the public. Indian Institute of Otorhinolaryngology, Chennai, has reported that increasing industrial noises damage the hearing ability by at least 20%. Workers in steel industry who work close to heavy industrial blowers are exposed to 112 decibels for 8 hours. They suffer from occupational hearing loss. The situation is much better in modern planned cities like Chandigarh, where the industrial area is kept away from the residential areas and both are separated from each other by a sufficiently wide green belt. Transport noise. Automobile revolution in urban centers has contributed a lot to noise pollution. Increasing traffic has given rise to traffic jams in congested areas where the repeated hooting of horns by impatient drivers assault the ears of commuters. The number of vehicles on roads has increased enormously in the recent past, further aggravating the problem of transport noise. Noise levels in most residential areas in the metros hover around the borderline due to increased vehicular noise pollution. This high level of noise pollution leads to loss of hearing in the elderly. Noise from aeroplanes constitute an increasing serious problem in big cities like Delhi and Bombay. With airports situated in the vicinity of populated areas, the airplanes pass directly over residential areas. Coming to neighborhood noise, The household is an industry in itself and is a source of many indoor noises such as the banging of doors, noise of playing children, crying of infants, moving of furniture, loud conversation of the inhabitants, and so on. Besides these are the entertainment equipment in the house, namely the radio, record players and television sets. Domestic gadgets like the mixer, grinder, pressure cookers, air coolers, air conditioners, exhaust fans, vacuum cleaners, sewing machines and a whole host of other machines are all indoor sources of noise pollution. This type of noise includes disturbance from household gadgets and surrounding community. Common sources are musical instruments, TV, VCR, radios, transistors, telephones, fans, loudspeakers and so on. Statistically, it is said that ever since the Industrial Revolution, noise in the environment has been doubling every 10 years. Some of the other types of noise: public address system. In India, people need only the slightest of an excuse for using loudspeakers. The reason may be a religious function, birth, death, marriage, elections, demonstration for just commercial advertising. Public system therefore contributes in its own way towards noise pollution. Agriculture machines. Tractors, thrashers, harvesters, tube wells, power tillers, etc. have all made agriculture highly mechanical, but at the same time highly noisy. Noise levels of 90 decibels to 98 decibels due to the running of farm machines have been recorded in the state of Punjab. Defense equipment. A lot of noise pollution is added to the atmosphere by artillery, tanks, launching of rockets, explosions, exercising of military airplanes and shooting practices. Screeching of jet engines and sonic booms have a deafening impact on the ears and in extreme cases have been known to shatter the windows, panes and old dilapidated buildings. Miscellaneous sources. The automobile repair shops, construction works, blasting, bulldozing, stone crushing, etc. are the other sources of noise pollution. Now let us look at the health effects of exposure to such noise. Noise is generally harmful and a serious health hazard. It has far-reaching consequences and has many physical, physiological as well as psychological effects on human beings. They can be summarized as shown in the table below. Effects of noise on human beings: noise hazards, noise nuisance, permanent hearing loss, temporary hearing loss, neurohumoral stress response, destruction of artifacts, decreased efficiency, increased mental stress, frustration, taste interference, irritability, loss of comfort, sleep interference, communication interference, invasion of privacy, damage to artifacts, habit of talking loudly, loss of enjoyment, loss of concentration, meditation interference, effect on recreational activities, temporary hearing loss. Physical effects. The physical manifestation of noise pollution is the effect of hearing ability. Repeated exposure to noise may result in temporary or permanent shifting of the hearing threshold of a person, depending upon the level and duration of exposure. The immediate and acute effect of noise pollution is the impairment of hearing, that is, total deafness. Temporary hearing loss. When a short time is spent in a noisy workplace, it may be noticed that one cannot hear very well and there is a ringing sound in the ears. This condition is called temporary threshold shift. The ringing and the feeling of deafness normally wears off after some time. However, the longer one is exposed to the noise, the longer it takes for the hearing to return to normal. After leaving work, it may take several hours for a worker's ears to recover. This may cause social problems because a worker may find it difficult to hear what other people are saying or may want the radio or television louder than the rest of the family. Permanent hearing loss. Eventually, after one has been exposed to excessive noise for too long, ears do not recover and the hearing loss becomes permanent. Permanent hearing loss can never be repaired. This type of damage to the ear can be caused by long-term exposure to loud noise, or in some cases by short exposures to very loud noise. Hearing tests are the only reliable way to find out whether a worker is suffering from hearing loss. Unfortunately, hearing tests can be difficult to obtain and need to be performed by a trained healthcare professional. The reactions of new workers or visitors to a noisy workplace can be indicators of a noise problem. For example, if they have to shout, cover their ears, or leave in a hurry. Physiological effects. The physiological manifestation of noise pollution are several as mentioned below. Headache by dilating blood vessels in the brain, increase in the rate of heartbeat, narrowing of arteries, fluctuations in the arterial blood pressure by increasing the level of cholesterol in the blood, decrease in the heart output, pain in the heart, digestive spasms through anxiety and dilation of the pupil of the eye, thereby causing eye strain, impairment of night vision, decrease in the rate of color perception, lowering of concentration and effect on memory, muscular strain and nervous breakdown. Psychological effect. The psychological manifestations of noise pollution are depression and fatigue, which considerably reduces the efficiency of a person, insomnia as a result of disturbed sleep, straining of senses and annoyance as a result of slow but persistent noise from motorcycles, alarm clocks, call bells, telephone rings, etc. Affecting the psychomotor performance of a person by a sudden loud sound and emotional disturbance. For a talkative person, the most important effect of noise pollution would invariably be that the noise interferes with the conversation. So, noise is annoying, and the annoyance depends on many factors, not merely the intensity of sound, but also repetition, because even a sound of small intensity like the dripping of a tap or the clicking of a clock may become annoying simply by repetition. Some of the well-known effects of noise on human beings and the relation of noise pollution level and its harmful effects are: up to 23 decibel, there are no disturbance. 30 to 60 decibels, there is stress, tension and psychological effects, especially at the upper range. 60 to 90 decibels, there is damage to health, psychological and vegetative effects. Disturbances in the stomach, gall function, pains in muscles, high blood pressure, disturbance in sleeping. From 60 to 120 decibels, there are damages to health and ontological effects. Above 120 decibels, there are painful effects in the long run. Other effects. In addition to hearing loss, exposure to noise in the workplace can cause a variety of other health problems, including chronic health problems. Exposure to noise over a long period of time decreases coordination and concentration. This increases the chance of accidents happening. Noise increases stress, which can lead to a number of health problems, including heart, stomach and nervous disorders. Noise is suspected of being one of the causes of heart disease and stomach ulcers. Workers exposed to noise may complain of nervousness, sleeping problems and fatigue. Excessive exposure to noise can also reduce job performance and may cause high rates of absenteeism. In this session, we have looked at noise, what are the sources of noise, what are the different types of noise, and finally the health effects of noise. In the next session, we shall look at the noise limit and ways to control noise. Thank you.